Don't you love capitalism?
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of gotten okay with the idea of the market saying no. Like I'm much more like, I after, having 98 SKUs or whatever, I'm like, only 20% of them really, really work.
That's right. The biggest mistake is that people don't move on fast enough from failures. They try to fix failures.
Totally.
When someone by the initials of TB arrives, would you just send him down?
What are you pulling out of my hair? That's right. Excuse me.
All right. Cool. Oh, that's cute. That's cute, Judson. We take things real seriously here. Real seriously.
Judson, we have to tell the story about how we met.
Okay.
Before we start talking about money and business, if we even get there.
Yeah. Politics, religion.
Oh, I'm in. I need you to...
Prayer. Let's open in prayer.
Anywho, I've actually never heard the full story from your perspective.
So, I guess I start from the phone call. Right? I got a phone call. Or maybe I should start from before that.
I think you should start with how you discovered my work.
Okay. So, I won't start with the phone call. Fine, Ryan. Yeah, so I had a video production company in Los Angeles, and I,
You were an actor.
Oh yeah, I was an actor.
And you had like one famous scene, right?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I was on Angel.
Was that was your breakout?
Yeah.
You were on an episode of Angel.
Yeah. It's an episode of
I love how uncomfortable you are right now.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. I was on an episode of Strangers with Candy. It's a very weird show. Amy Sedaris. David Sedaris and Amy Sedaris. Yeah. Amy Sedaris was a 40-year-old who went back to high school in this story. And she was like awkwardly in high school as like a 40-year-old woman and the whole thing. So
like Billy Madison, but with a woman character, essentially.
Yeah. Wait, what's the guy who hosts the Tonight Show now? David Letterman, who took over for Steve.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what's his name?
Money, help me out. Why can't I think of Stephen Colbert's name? Why
Stephen,
can't I think of Stephen Colbert's name? What's wrong with me?
I can't either. He was on that show and a writer. So I worked with I worked with him on that show. But I played this was the real thing that if you want to go look me up, Google this episode. I was like a boy that I was like a kid. I was like when I first moved to New York City. And I played like a love interest of Amy Sedaris, who was a 40-year-old in high school, and I was like a high school age kid.
Oh man!
And
go Judson.
It was hilarious. I played the cowbell in the band in the show, and that's how she fell in love with me.
This sounds freaking awesome. Like
it actually, yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
was. No, I'd be proud for anyone to go watch that. Anything else? No. Don't go see it. Don't try to find anything else.
So then you went behind the camera. You started a video production company.
Yeah, I figured out that being an actor was bullshit. I mean, that is a terrible business. You're like literally like, oh, I'll go into business where I try to make a living where it's like 0% up to me if I succeed or not. It's complete luck. Terrible. So I started doing documentaries, commercials, stuff like that. The service business, so making videos for people, is just hard to scale. And so I started listening to Pat Flynn's podcast only because it was named Passive Income. I didn't even know what the fuck that was. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I was like, of course, none of it actually is passive, come to find out. But you were on there.
Yeah.
Was that like a very early podcast for you?
Yeah, it was super early.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I caught Ryan on that. And I listened to 40 episodes, 20 episodes, a lot. And he had all kinds
Pat's podcast.
Yeah. He had all kinds of different business models on there. And I was like, that could be interesting. This could be interesting. And then when you came on, it was like, that makes sense. For the first time, I was like, that's a business model that makes sense to me. You said, I really like the idea of physical products. It was the first time I'd ever thought I'd ever considered physical products as like a thing, as a business. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, super clear to me that it was like such a good idea. And the way that you articulated it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So light bulb went off. So I literally from that day, like bought like 500 cell phone cases from Alibaba or something.
I forgot about this story.
Something like that.
That part, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, just to test it out, you know, they were like 50 cents each or something. And I did like leather just so it was differentiated a little bit.
Quotation mark leather, as you just
Oh
said.
yeah, it was faux leather.
Uh-huh.
And they
All
sold.
the money's in faux leather.
Yeah, totally. I think you said that on the podcast. So they totally sold out. I mean, you know, like I was like, oh my gosh, this totally works. Like Ryan's totally right. And I don't know, 6 months goes by or something, maybe. And so by that point I had like started a brand and like started to do the whole thing on Amazon.com while I had the production company. So it was sort of like a side thing, right? Well, it's completely a side thing. And then I got a call from a producer, a friend of mine. He's like, hey, there's a guy who wants to make a documentary. Thought you'd be perfect to like direct this. And I was like, okay, cool. What's it about? And it's like, oh, it's like called Losing My Religion. And he, you know, it's a guy who like used to be a pastor and now he's like a businessman. And I was like, oh, interesting. And he's like, yeah, I think the guy's from like Austin, Texas. And I was like, is that Ryan Moran? And he was like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, how in the world do you know that? I was like, oh, I listened to his podcast and I'm like totally started a business because of him.
And you didn't tell me any of this.
Yes.
Like, we talked about the documentary. We talked about like what the film was going to look like. And you never brought it up.
Yeah.
Until we met in person. And you're like, so there's a story I have to tell you.
Yeah.
And I was like, first of all, 80% of me was like thrilled out of my mind. Like, this is a, like, as we used to call it in the church, a God thing. This is inexplicable.
Right.
And that's 20% of me was like pissed. You didn't tell me. But 80% of me like, this is the trippiest experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like, well, when you think back on it, it felt to me like I didn't want to muddy the waters. Yeah. I didn't want to make it about me.
Yeah.
It was about you because you helped me do something, but I wanted it to be about the film.
Yeah.
That's why I did that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the interesting thing is we have this strange relationship now where like you were a hero to me in this area of my life that I know nothing about, right? Filmmaking.
Right.
And I'm a hero to you in this area that you felt like you knew nothing about, which is business.
Yeah.
And all I did was, you know, talking to a microphone a few times and you did all the work, but you perceive me as way ahead of you and you make this film, which is right in your zone of genius. And so we have this strange relationship where like I admire you and you admire me. Yeah. And I think we each put each other on a pedestal and we both think it's weird that the other person puts each other on a pedestal.
Yeah.
So we have this just strange relationship that I think is such a mirror of how most of us are operating in life. Like we're comparing ourselves to other people's highlight reels and like overlooking where our genius is.
Yeah.
And
because
we have a weird relationship. No,
it's true. And in a way, it's like it's the best, right? It's like people that really respect each other, and it's like there's a hierarchy, but not as a whole. It's like I look up to you in one way, you look up to me in one way. It's like,
and that's how life is supposed to frickin' work.
Yeah.
Like that, like that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're all really good at certain things.
Yeah, and we try to be good at what somebody else is good at,
or try to do it like
status.
Them. Right.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
Like I'm gonna take that tactic that guy does, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just copy that, or I'm gonna try to be like X or Y or whatever. It's like no, be you, man. That's your greatest asset, especially as like a creative in like the filmmaking world or the acting world or something. It's like if you try to be this or that or whatever, you're dead. You're dead in the water. Yeah. Be you. Be as weird as you are, bro.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, the weirder people that I knew, quote unquote, that were coming up with me as actors. So this one dude, Brian Baumgartner's his name. Does anybody watch The Office, the American version of The Office? Yeah. So he's the big guy that plays Kevin.
Okay.
We were friends. We did a play together before he ever moved to Los Angeles, you know? And of course, that dude, because he's so unique, he's so him. Like, no one else looks like him.
Right.
No one else has that humor. He's very him. He like succeeded like that because he was like, I'm me, man.
Do you know Kelly Felix?
No, an actor.
It's funny. You kind of look like him. His like breakthrough success was an info product called The Rich Jerk, way back in the early 2000s. It was the first thing I ever bought on the internet, and he's a similar story as you, as actor turned entrepreneur. But his biggest highlight reel, he was a teenager on Seventh Heaven.
I love it. That's awesome. That could totally been me.
Well, he likes to tell the story how when he was doing auditions, he noticed that if he tried to play a part, he wouldn't get the role. But if he started auditioning for roles that were him, he would get the part.
Yeah.
So he saw the producers they didn't want to get somebody who was good at acting like an arrogant prick.
Yep.
They wanted to go get an arrogant prick to play a part. And it's just like, be yourself.
It's a massive unlock, I think, for anything. So anyone who's listening, who's like is starting a business, do the thing you're passionate about. Create it, right? You know what I mean? Like, and do it your way. Like, take the information that you're getting and put it into you as a person. You're going to succeed. Like you, actually. So you're moving more toward things that you love, whether it's like keto brownies or, right? Things that you like foods. Yeah. It's a passion of yours. It's an interest of yours. You don't have to be like, get up every day and be like, oh man, I got to work on this. It's like, no, I want to. I love it. It's me.
Well, I'm being genuine in how I say this. I have given up at things that are a constant struggle. And just kind of my overall life thesis right now is that the deck is kind of stacked for things to be easy, or actually a better phrase is resistance free. Mm-hmm. Like, there is someone who is talking today about how they have this business they hate and they're trying to fix it. And all they want to do is just do the business that they're passionate about. And what life is giving that person the opportunity to learn is that it doesn't have to be hard. Like everything is hard. Everything takes hard work, but not everything feels hard. And you know what the measure on it is its energy. It's your own personal energy. That is the sign. The sign is, are you getting more energy out of something, or is it draining you? Because energy is infinite. It's created. And when things are draining that, it's not your highest and best use.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm discovering.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that's how we met.
That's how we met.
We made a documentary over about 2 years. It's sitting on my hard drive somewhere. Your entrepreneurial ADD and my entrepreneurial ADD like to start things and kick ideas around and not finish them. So
yeah, we didn't only kick it around. We did. I mean, we're like at the finish line.
Oh yeah.
We just don't want to step over the line.
That's right. Well, part of me also just like, man, that was so hard to capture on film. Like the evolution of a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
It was hard to condense that down. And we got it done.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's more, I think, going to end up being the introduction of the journey. And I'm a completely different person than I was when I started making the film. Yeah. When we completed the film, I'm a different person.
Totally.
Like I believe things now that I didn't believe a year ago because my work has continued. And I'll share more about that. But tell me about the business side of it. Like, what you start following, you build this business. I think you were like right at 1 million or something when we met. I don't know if you were like a year in or something, but I actually don't know that much about business. I don't know if you talk about the brand publicly or what, but
sure. Yeah. I can't remember when we met, where I was at, but it felt early-ish. But I always really bought your premise that to build a brand, you know, and it naturally played into who I am, and I'm a storyteller. So I always bought that, and I didn't want to just sell spatulas.
Yeah.
I never, I heard that version of e-commerce, like, you know what I mean? I heard those podcasts
You sell
too.
things on Amazon, sell
Yeah.
what everybody else is selling.
Yeah. But you were always talking a bigger game. And I think your audience probably resonates with this, that is a lot of what draws us in, is like, you're talking a big game in a lot of ways, but building a real company is something you always say.
Yeah.
I'm 30% of the way into building a real company. Like, it's something I want to talk about more. And like, we were talking earlier about hiring and firing and those things, all those things, like, it's hard. But yeah, I think I was at about, I don't know, I can't remember, about $1 million, but we started selling fashion jewelry. I don't even know how that happened, actually. Really? It's strange. It's my wife and I, we sort of came up with stuff together, and like, it's funny. I don't remember how I ended up there. So we're one of the bigger, fashion jewelry companies on Amazon. We should probably, I don't know, the revenue numbers, doesn't matter. It gives people a gauge of what, right?
Yeah.
We have like 98 SKUs, so we have a lot of SKUs.
Yeah.
And we're targeted to do around 4 million in revenue. So this year.
It's great, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did that feel to say?
Right then, I felt a little bashful about it, but
Bashful, like afraid it's low? Like it?
No.
Like
No.
You feel like you're bragging?
Yeah, just kind of stupid to sound, because
it's so funny that like we're so afraid to be judged around something as stupid as numbers. Like both of these things happened today, or no, both of these were last night. One person came up to me and was like, "Look, I feel uncomfortable because I think I'm the poorest person here," which is probably the 7th time somebody has said that at my house. They can't all be right. And then someone else said, "Ryan, my business is struggling, and every time I see you, I feel like you're going to be disappointed in me." I'm like, dude, like, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you're making $10 million or $10. I'm happy for you at the top, and I want to help you at the bottom. Like, what do you want to impress me? It's just interesting how we have you're a little bashful to say what your revenue was because you're like, I don't want to seem like a dick. And
I think we also really know how broken our businesses are.
Yeah, we know all the shit going on under the hood.
You know what I mean? Like, I think some people have their shit worked out. It feels like they know what they're doing, and then I think most of us, we're like, yeah, we don't really know what to do. We got the 4 million, but it could all fall apart.
Yeah.
Or it's a house of straw. It's a house of cards that, like, I mean, I'm not a complete idiot. I do look at SKU level profit margins, and I'm not 100% sure that that the software that I use actually calculates it correctly. But I am doing that, and I think that's, I look at each item at each SKU as its own little business. So right, so if it's not profitable, I got to figure that out or get rid of it. I liquidated my first product,
the
2,500 units.
The leather cases or whatever it was. That one?
No, I stopped selling that.
Oh, so your second product. Those sold out. Those worked. Those worked too well. So you went on the second product and you liquidated those.
No, I mean, just recently I liquidated one.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Like, I did this whole thing, $20,000. It was a lot, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is not working. I cannot believe this." I tried all new images. I tried new copy. I tried all this different stuff, and I couldn't get it to work. And
why didn't it work?
The market just didn't want it, man. It was a set of 3 candles.
Okay.
And it's just, nobody wants a set of 3 candles. like my wife and I were like, dude, these are cool, man. What's what?
Why'd you launch it then?
Because we had other successful products similar.
Okay. I have to ask, The other products that were similar, why did they work, or why did you launch those?
The way that we've been thinking about stuff is we do a little bit of like, product research, but mostly we're launching things that we want.
And that was those other similar products that did well.
Yeah.
And then you went for the money and it sucked.
You mean like just doing more versions of
Well, the next product, you justified it in your head. You were like, well, these are doing well, so let's just do a different one. The market obviously likes them, and it failed.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, I see that so often. I don't know what the principle is there.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start doing things for the numbers and the algorithms, for the data, things suck.
Yeah.
And when you do things because you just have like this internal pull for it, always works out. And part of me thinks of it, it's just because it's like something you want anyway. It's something like numbers are a reflection of what people want, not a precursor to what people want. So some people will look at numbers and then try to sell to the numbers, but the numbers are actually a measure of people wanting other stuff. Mm-hmm. And what you're describing is an example of like you wanted something, you made it, did well, and you're like, let's go for the numbers now, and it didn't go so well.
Yeah.
Like none of my really successful products had data to back up that they would be big sellers. Mm-hmm. None of them. It was they sold and it like created a category, and then other people flooded in and started doing marketing and stuff, and it made the category bigger. But there was no reason to. Who was selling like mold-free coffee 10 years ago?
Right.
No one. Who was selling MCT oil 10 years ago? No one. Somebody brought it to market and it created a category.
Yeah.
And everybody started copying it, and it takes off. Don't you love capitalism?
Yeah. I've kind of gotten okay with the idea of the market saying no. Like I'm much more like, I after, having 98 SKUs or whatever, I'm like, only 20% of them really, really work.
That's right.
And so it's like, okay, this one's one of the 80%. Some of them I keep around. They're singles, they're doubles, right?
Yeah.
But if it's a strikeout,
move on.
Just move on.
Ty Lopez said something really smart to me once. We were we both advise a company. We sat on the board of a company, and he said the biggest mistake either he's made or that he's seen other people make is that people don't move on fast enough from failures. They try to fix failures.
Totally.
And so instead of just being like, oh, didn't work, let's go. Next thing. Next man up. Let's go. It was, this is working. I'm going to try and fix it and force it. And then you spend 3 years trying to force it.
Yeah.
That's
how
not
much
path
time?
of least resistance, man.
Right. Totally. How much more time did it take for me to try all these different ways for that one product when all that energy could have been spent on the great products, or, if I work on a way to convert 1% better on my best product, that's going to be infinitely more ROI,
right. Yeah. And I've made the mistake 24 times. Right. I don't know what in our brains makes us think it has to be hard.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Right. I know when like talking about launching, on Amazon, for example, like certain products just launch.
They just go.
Yeah, because
they just move.
Because they're beautiful and they're you're meeting the market at the time that it wants them, and it's like, oh, I don't have to do anything actually.
So here's another observation. When you genuinely want it, it's really easy to write copy around it.
Totally.
And so the copy comes across as authentic, meaningful. But when you don't want it, you're trying to write in like the most wonky ass way, conversions suck.
Yeah.
So it's like follow. I'm giving myself this advice, like just follow what's easy. Like what feels energizing. I don't mean easy, lazy. I mean like energy creating.
Yeah.
That's where the juice is.
I feel like humans are Like you were saying earlier, we started today with a little meditation, if you don't mind me saying so.
Yeah, please. I'd love your thoughts on that. I really enjoy leading group meditations.
Yeah, it was great. I call Ryan the entrepreneur pastor.
I'll take it. I'm not gonna market myself as that, but if other people refer to me as that, that's
going
fun.
to. So Ryan, the entrepreneur pastor, or is it pastor entrepreneur? No, entrepreneur pastor.
You said the pastor for entrepreneurs, so like the entrepreneur pastors.
Yeah, the entrepreneur pastor, because he led us in, a beautiful, completely unrelated to business, but everything, meditation in the morning. What was I saying though?
I have no idea.
Completely.
Hold on, let's rewind here for a second.
Bullshit about the entrepreneur pastor got me distracted.
Well, I said it doesn't have to be hard. And then you said, oh yeah, this meditation. And that's where you were going.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome way to
that was it. I said, it doesn't have to be so hard. And you said, yeah, like today, you led us in a group meditation.
Yeah. That's the point that I can't remember.
Okay.
But I do have an answer to the meditation.
Okay, go for it.
It was lovely. I mean, it's like Tony Robbins, where he's like, your business is only as successful as you can develop as a person, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that quote is.
Yeah.
And I remembered what I was going to say. So you said this morning in the meditation that that it's a group meditation. There's energy in the room.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a connection, which I totally believe. There's connection with human beings, and we're made to connect and all that stuff. And so when we're trying to develop, this is the point that I was trying to make from before. When we're trying to develop a product for another human being, right? Like this is human to human. Products are not outside of, like, they're all about humans. And if we're doing it out of a place that's like based on an algorithm or based on math,
based on the result that you hope that you get from another human being.
The other human being, by the way, they feel that. I think there's like this subconscious exchange of like, oh, this product feels very organic and real, and like you believe in a brand because it feels so real.
That is, I think you're 100% right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, even on an Amazon listing, we can sense it.
You can feel the difference.
Yeah. You're like, oh, this is like somebody really made this. Like they believe in this product. Like this isn't some knockoff. You know what I mean? I'm not articulating that super well, but
entrepreneurship is a spiritual act.
Yeah, totally.
What you're saying.
Totally.
And if entrepreneurship is a spiritual act, then if you're approaching it with the intention of getting something, it is like being in a room or on a date with someone who's trying to get something. We feel that shit.
Yeah, totally.
And if entrepreneurship is a spiritual act, then you're coming at it with, what can I create? What can I give?
What can I give?
Magnify? What can I amplify?
Totally.
Where can I have alchemy? Where can I create something out of nothing? People feel that too.
Yeah, and then your products are awesome.
That's right.
Because you're trying to do something good in the world.
That's right.
You're not just trying to make another of this or whatever because it says that you're going to sell a lot. The plugins that tells you. It's like, no, I'm going to build something real that I really want to give to the world. Like when we create products and our brands, I can't wait to get returns shipped back to my office or my house, because then I have a bunch of stock and I can give them to my mom when she comes over.
That's right.
Because I love the fucking products.
Dude, I did the exact same thing in my businesses.
You know what I mean? It's like when you love
it's not
the
a burden to get returns.
Yes.
That's cool. I got my own free stuff.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And my whole team's like, awesome. We got 4 boxes of returns. We got Christmas presents for everybody. All of our family, because we love the products.
That's right.
It's like, if you have that, it's like, so, you're saying to me that like, that I love making films, and that is a unique ability of mine, something I've done for a long time. And I have found that the creation of products, telling a story
going in this direction,
telling a story around them and creating really special little things. I mean, a piece of jewelry that my wife designed or whatever, that if I see it in the wild, I had this dream of like seeing somebody wearing a necklace that my wife designed in at Disneyland. Just like a random person. And I've seen it a few times, like a random.
That's happened to me.
Has it?
A t-shirt. My brother took a selfie with somebody wearing the capitalism.com t-shirt.
That's so, isn't that,
like,
it's epic,
the coolest
right?
thing ever.
Yeah, it's like, that's an idea I came up with out of an organic, real thing in me.
That's right.
Right? And it's in a small way changing the world. You know, like giving this person, we make products with purpose, products with meaning. Like, I just feel like that's what everyone should do. Out of your own heart, your own life, your own experience, your own pain, solve your own pain. So, like build beautiful things. They're going to kill, dude.
Yep. You take ownership for the problem you want to solve.
Yep.
And you create something that's in service to other people.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. It's not that hard. And then you know what?
But we make it so hard because we're like afraid it's going to fail.
Yeah.
And we're so attached to the result.
Yeah.
Which we end up creating, because if you're attached to the result, then you're taking.
Right. Totally.
When we were on the bus coming back from dinner tonight, you were talking with Mike about how creating is just like the most joyous thing. Like that zone, that is just pure fun. And I really believe, I don't know if it's everyone, but definitely entrepreneurs, when they're in that sense of they're creating, that's what we're all really after. Mm-hmm. That's the feeling. Like what we really want is not the money. What we really want is not the status. We want to be in constant creation. Mm-hmm. And what is the opening verse of the Bible? Genesis 1:1. What is it, Judson?
It's
you can do it.
It's in him where I'm so
That's
bad.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm so bad at remembering exact. In the beginning was the Word.
That's John 1.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning,
God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah, what did God do in the beginning? In the beginning,
He created.
God.
He created. Yeah, created. Totally.
So what's God's favorite thing to do?
Yeah, create.
Boom.
Totally.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing. I was going to say the same point. It's we are created in God's image. Like,
and if that's true, then and God creates.
Yeah.
What's our highest use?
Totally.
Creating.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship's a spiritual act, man.
I believe it 100%. And to be honest with you, that is one of the reasons that I resonate so much with you as a, influencer or whatever. It's the tactics and all the stuff that you learn in business in general, all the different stuff, right? It's like, just as a random example, but like getting influencers to promote your brand becomes easy when your brand has real products that human beings love. And right, it's like, oh, they actually want to. So we have some home goods and stuff, and like it's super easy. They're beautiful. People want them. Mm-hmm. We don't have to knock anybody's door down. Like it's just getting. You
don't have to have review hacks.
Yeah.
When people love the product.
Yeah. They're like, can I have it? I want to review it. They see our next product come out. They message us.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, can we? The review hacks can be nice sometimes. When you have a lot of people giving you bad reviews for no reason, and then you get to 4 stars, and you're like, hey, can I just get a few hacks so I can get back up to 4.5 stars?
Yeah, but that's like when it's 20% of your business.
Yeah, totally. I agree. 100%.
Not 80%.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah.
But most people are trying to build businesses
around those hacks. Yeah,
right?
totally.
I mean, this was the advice Matt Clark gave to me at Torchy's Tacos back in 2013. I was doing like $8,000 a month in sales, and I was like, dude, like, all right, come on, I'm making sales now. Tell me like what's different. Like, what are you doing different? And he was like, Ryan, you've got to make the hacks like 5% and go build a real business. I was like, that's really good advice. And then I just went all in on building a real company.
It's so much more fun. It's so much more fulfilling.
It really is.
It really is. It's just, that's like, I get the easy, quick wins of like, oh, I could get X amount of reviews or something, like the easy quick wins, but they don't pay off, because if you get 30 5-star reviews and you're launching your product some hacky way, then the next 10 reviews are bad because your product is shitty.
Yep.
And real people don't like it. You're not going to succeed anyway. You're still going to lose.
They've got to out hack the earlier hack.
Yeah. And then your margin's just completely like you're build a beautiful product that has a high margin because people really want it.
That's right.
You know, and because it's real and organic, and like I'm saying all of this, and I could totally get better at this. Like,
yeah, we only give the advice that we need ourselves.
Yeah.
But we know this based on a lot of struggle. Like, you and I have both failed at a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's been my experience that I fail at the things that I also did for a result and were the hardest. Like, oh, there's going to be a great result. I'm going to go all in on, like, just grind my way through this. And it sucks because we think it's supposed to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be. It can be. You can work hard, but it doesn't have to feel like a drag all the time.
Yeah. You know, Dan Sullivan.
Heard of him?
I don't know him personally. You were actually in Strategic Coach for a while, but I just am over on the side listening to the podcast or something. But
he's the only person that I listen to at normal speed. Like,
that's funny.
I love hearing Dan Sullivan.
That's funny. He's great. Yeah. He, you know, just the simple thing to think about your thinking, right? Like, he always talks about thinking about your thinking. It's like, you know, like the hack. It's just like, okay, you know, like it's personal development. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I, like we were talking about today, one of the things that came up today for me in downstairs was like, I know I have these limiting beliefs. I know I have limiting beliefs around, you know, how I should be progressing in my businesses. Mm-hmm. Multiple businesses, it gets complicated. I'm working too hard, right? I'm working, like I calculated a couple of days ago, I worked like 13 and a half hours, you know, and I have 3 kids and a wife and young kids. I don't want to miss their lives, you know, like I'm at that stage where
one of them's 2 months old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing at my house right now? You have a 2-month-old.
I know. I'm a terrible father. No, you know, to be honest, totally honest with you, I prioritize. I haven't been leaving at all, right? My team does any travel that needs to happen. They do all that. Like, I'm here because I'm trying to unlock something big, and I knew this is a place that I can have those conversations.
How do you feel? I mean, we're halfway through. How do you feel after today?
Really good. Getting some important unlocks, I think. Some nice things like, okay, it's funny, you have things that are like, oh, I know I should do this, man. I know I should do this.
This is my read on you, actually. You unlock isn't the right word. It's like doors opened, but you're still locked down. Like, my read on you right now is that we've unlocked a lot of doors where you're starting to see how big this can get. But you are held back by the chains of what make it hard. And you're afraid to let those go. That's just my overall read on you.
Yeah.
Like, we had the discussion we had at dinner about how you can leverage your greatest passion to get equity in companies that legitimately could make you $10 million over the next 5 to 10 years. Could. And
what's funny about that is it wouldn't be that hard.
Right.
That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
The other ideas of like how to make 10 million sound hard. You know what I mean? Like scaling my company, getting another 500 SKUs or whatever it would take to.
Yeah.
That sounds hard, like a lot of work. But the idea that we were talking about sounds kind of easy.
Yeah, it sounds easy and could legitimately be the most profitable thing you do ever.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big door opening, I think, for you, because the other thing, you had the other idea that you were going to say, which that you brought to the table that I thought sounded really hard, sounded like a lot of work, and I have a feeling would be a real struggle business. But I think and feel like that unlock that we had would take you to where you want to be, but there's like this, you don't know how to let go and allow yourself to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate read?
I think so. Yeah.
Why do you think you have that, or what's the struggle for you? Allowing it to be easy?
It's similar to what I was saying in the group today, which is that the working hard has sort of proven itself to be working. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of saying that today, where it's like maybe other people feel the same thing, where it's like, I've been grinding. I've been doing the Gary V, burning the midnight oil. I've been working 14-hour days, 18-hour days, whatever, and it's actually gotten me from 0 to a $4 million company.
Yeah.
So it's like, giving that up because it quote unquote feels like it worked.
But you're lying. The thing that you're grinding at is the thing that makes you the least amount of money. We've had this conversation. You have one trouble business that takes up the most of your time and makes you the least amount. And it's the same with me. And my trouble children get most of my attention.
Yeah.
So I could just, and I've made the decision recently to like relax around those. I mean, I'll just come out and say, like, my trouble business is capitalism.com. Because I thought it had to be complicated. The truth is, if I just allow myself to do what's easy for me, this podcast is really easy for me.
Yeah.
And someone's been listening to the whole thing.
No, we seriously, like, I was like sitting down right now to record this, and I was like, oh, we didn't prepare. We're just going to talk. He's like, yeah, that's how I do it. We just, because Ryan's got a gift in this way. And like, it's fascinating. So you're, this is easy.
Yeah. Totally.
But
But every time I try to think my way through content, it sucks.
Yeah.
When I just show up because I want to show up, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really good. And the truth is, I have been making it hard on myself. And every time I go into like, I have to get the result out of this, it sucks. So if you allow yourself in that trouble business to do what feels good to you, I promise you, it's just going to like bubble up out of you. You won't be able to help it.
Yeah.
This is why we need to hang out more. You see it in me.
Yeah.
I see it in you.
Yeah. No, that's why I prioritized coming, because
you might like me more than your kids.
You're so much more handsome than my 2-month-old. His beard hasn't come in yet.
Ah, poor chap.
I also don't have to clean up your poop.
That's true.
No, because
I pay other people to clean up my poop.
because I'm very much, I'm ready to be free, and I'm ready to, like there aren't a lot of places where, so entrepreneurs, we're weirdos and we're unique breed, we're the 1%. And it's such this is maybe an advertisement for the tribe, but it's like, there is so much value, dude, to gathering together and rubbing shoulders with people that are doing similar things, that have completely different businesses, but are similar people, that have similar businesses, but are totally different people. So they're doing it in a different way. But we all, like just hearing someone struggle, or hearing someone had the unlock, or like, hey, read this book. Like that happened to me last time. When we were here last time, it was like a couple people said, read this book, and I just devoured them. And it was like, man, this is exactly what I needed.
What was the book?
The one I'm thinking of is Built to Sell.
Okay.
So it's really about building a real business.
Yeah.
That provides an offering that is like a proven concept. So a unique selling proposition. Developing, so for a service company, like my video company, developing like this is the butter way. This is how butter does it, and offering that and saying we don't do anything else. This is what we do.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so what I had an idea of how to do that, and I presented it to Ryan. He said, I think not that one, but how about this one?
I think my exact words were to you, man, if you do that, I think you could make hundreds.
Ryan's a real dick. Ryan could be a real dick.
That's mean, Judson. I have feelings, you know. I'm kind of a feeler. I'm sensitive.
You are a feeler. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
You have a lot of you have a lot of feelings and a lot of No, but you do. You do. It's like it makes you such a great human being and a great businessman, and I think it's also a struggle. It causes a lot of pain for you.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
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 And I really it's really beautiful of you that you've gone on this journey, spiritual journey and then self-development journey, and you've brought us all in with you into the different pieces and said like, I'm trying this. And you know, I think it was Jim Rohn who said that he had this peace in his life. I think he said he got it from his parents, where he had I think he called it ultimate trust, something like that, something about trust, but like he called it faith in God, you know, but the words he used were something cooler, like ultimate trust, where he's just like, no matter the way the winds blew, I had peace, you know, I had peace, and I just you on your journey. You are seeking that and finding it. And it's beautiful that you are allowing us to
see our own junk through mine.
Yeah. Sort of experience some of the things without going to Burning Man ourselves. You know what I mean? Because if you weren't open and being like this is hard. This was very hard, and then
well, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of value in a facade.
Yeah.
I don't think people really benefit from it, and I don't like having it. Like, who wants to be loved for what they project out, not who they are? But we all do it. We all build like this crazy facade of what we think will allow us to get the result, get loved or accepted. And so we build like this framing on top of who we really are.
Especially men.
And there's just, we're really good at it.
Yeah.
So we just don't, I just don't like it. And I follow what feels good. Or I should say I'm practicing following what feels good.
Yeah.
Because I still have like areas where I have a facade.
Yeah.
We all have.
Yeah, me too. Totally. Yeah. No, it's refreshing because you have people who follow you, and you know, you're sort of leading the charge in this community and like build a community, you know, around ideas or whatever, but also around yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, we come and like there must be pressure. It's
so much more than you know.
Yeah, I can imagine, and like in the face of that, still being able to say like, you know what, I had a hard week, and I, you know, had to let somebody go, or I had to, this business is really kind of sucking. And
pretty sure I said all those three things today. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I can imagine I think you and we've had good outside of this context conversations, and I went through that whole thing, the journey with you of making the film or whatever. So, but my impression is that you would probably say that to most people that are in the.
Well, so here's an experience I had when I was in my mid-20s. No one in my family is an entrepreneur, and because of some experiences that happened in my teens, I've always kind of felt like I was on my own. I always felt like I was alone. And which I've worked through a variety of different
psychedelics.
I was going to say therapies. Actually, the most profound experience I had on that topic specifically was through EMDR, which is a form of therapy. I'll talk about it sometime, but it was basically like a psychedelic experience, but you're completely sober. It's just a certain type of therapy. I was shocked by it. But what I discovered in my mid-20s was I felt all this pressure and I felt all this loneliness that finally I just like broke and talked to my mentors about it because I didn't know who else to talk about it. I couldn't go to my family because they don't understand entrepreneurship. I can't go to the people that I feel are like successful because they're going to see I'm a failure. I can't go to my following and talk about where I'm insecure because they'll lose respect for me. So who do you go to? Most people just shoulder it and keep going. So I just like open up to some mentors. And the more I opened up, the more I heard, I've been there.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like, wait, this actually isn't a Ryan thing. This is a human thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humans are not that similar or not that different.
Not that different, yeah.
And so the more I open up about it, the more I get to be free of it, and the more other people are like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Everybody else is trying to build a facade over how they should be perceived. Nah. No thanks.
Yeah, it's like Brene Brown's talking about vulnerability. You know about her, that talk, yeah. Like it's like that's what's connecting. Talking about how good things are is not connecting. Connecting is being vulnerable because you know what? We are all struggling. We all struggle every day.
Yep. And
so we know that. So it's like we can celebrate good things for sure, but it's not that connecting. Like I enjoy celebrating people that I know who have successes for sure. But what's really connecting is if this isn't something that like I'm not saying you, I'm talking to the audience. Try it out. Like if you feel disconnected at a party, you're at an event, whatever, reveal something about yourself, and boom. I did it today. So when I didn't mean to, but it's just naturally how I am, and I think you too. But like when we're talking around the table, and I was like, guys, I get this, but this is I can't figure this part out. I opened up that I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we had an awesome conversation as a whole group, and a bunch of people came up to me and were like, dude, thank you. I feel the same way. I had like 4 or 5 people do that.
I sensed that and milked that conversation.
Totally.
Because you were willing to go out on that limb.
And it's just vulnerability.
Yeah. I knew that was not an uncommon struggle. So sometimes when you're in a group setting and somebody's just talking about one specific tactical problem, you're like, shut the front door. I'm done with this.
Yeah, right.
But that was one where I was like, we're going to milk this sucker because like Judson's willing to bleed in front of people while everybody else is like, I'm hurting too.
Yeah. And I noticed that like I had just people looking at me all day. Like it was like I revealed something, and I think, you do the same thing, and then everyone feels like they know me. So it's instant connection to everybody. Yep. So now I'm like super connected to everybody here when half of them I had never met.
So here's the dangerous side of that is some people then associate pain with their ability to connect. So it's not about sharing something that's painful. It's just about being real.
Yeah.
Like if you are genuinely pumped about a win, I can connect with you just as much. The truth is that we experience in our world, we hide more of the repressed junk.
Right.
And that's where we can connect. But if you and I do something amazing together and we celebrate what we just did together, that is just as much connection as sharing in the hurts.
Yeah.
But most people just aren't real.
Yeah. Totally.
That's the clincher behind it. Just be real.
Yeah. They want to produce like the Instagram effect, where it's like they want to project the good.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the tendency. We don't project the bad. So, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's why I say like the vulnerability, often the connection will come when you say that thing about something that's hard.
Yeah, I understand.
You
I
know,
understand.
because in fact, sharing of the good can be disconnecting. You know, like on Instagram. Like you are always like the life you're putting out. It's the projection of the good.
So
The real good. I
it's-
hear you.
If
I hear
it's
you.
a projection,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I think the measure is it fake or is it real?
Yeah.
Like I genuinely will post like when I'm feeling really good, I don't need anything from anyone, and I'm in that place where I can just give.
Yeah.
And so I'm being genuine, and like when I put out positivity, it's genuinely so. And that's projecting the good, but
Yeah.
it's genuine. And the fakeness is like, look at me, look how great I am. That's the fakeness part. When you're building the facade, that's where I think it crumbles. You made the observation of, you said, Ryan, you're a feeler. This is going to be fun and weird for me. You have literally seen me at my most vulnerable because of some of the things we filmed.
Yep.
Like you have seen me in places that no one will see me.
Yeah.
What is something surprising that most people wouldn't think about me?
I mean, I think you're pretty open. That's the problem. I'm trying to think of things you haven't revealed. Like, you know what I mean? You're pretty open, and you revealed quite a bit. Because I was gonna say, like, you really love your mom.
Oh,
You know, and you struggled with her, and but you wanted to honor her, even though you were separating yourself from her in terms of the spiritual beliefs and stuff. That's something that comes to mind. Probably people don't know that.
the look of surprise that wasn't what I expected you to say.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, like, he never uses a script or something like that.
Yeah, he can go on this like crazy diatribe, like this perfectly like articulate 10-minute rant, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Where did you get that? He's like, I don't know, I just said it. It's like, you didn't think about that at all before you did that whole thing? Like, you just like I couldn't even remember the first verse of the Bible when put on spot. And I'm like the most evangelical Christian ever. I was like going to be a pastor. You know, both of us were. I was going to be a pastor.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, you know, if you're a good Christian kid, you're supposed to.
You're supposed to give up everything in pursuit of the Lord.
Yeah. So like, if you're like you and I, we're leaders. And so when you're a leader as a young kid in Christian church, that guy's going to be a pastor. And you're like, okay, I guess, yeah, probably. You know what I mean? You're like,
Yep.
yeah, makes perfect sense.
That's exactly
Totally.
right.
I did the sermon on the youth Sunday. I don't know if you guys had youth Sunday where the youth people led the actual main service.
Mm-hmm.
I was the 16-year-old gave the sermon. And so Ryan,
Judson.
I have not given up my faith.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you and I connect quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we're actually at a very similar place. But you went, I think part of it is different childhoods, different. My parents were pretty open.
Open-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's part of the difference. Although my brother did turn from his faith and is like, that was some serious bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Or my older brother and I didn't do that. But so you're sitting across from me here, someone who doesn't really go to church,
Right.
can't remember the first verse of the Bible anymore.
Oh, you don't go
Me.
to church. Okay.
Me. Yeah. What do you think about the fact that I still say like I'm an evangelical Christian?
I haven't. I don't have any reaction to it.
I'm trying to spark some controversy.
Okay.
No.
What are you trying to get me to say? Like, because you buck the trend. Like, I do think it's weird that you called yourself the most evangelical person ever, and then you're like, "Well, I don't go to church. I curse."
Yeah, it's true. I'm not. Yeah, you're right.
So maybe not the most evangelical ever.
Yeah,
but
I did the on the side of like evangelical Christianity. I did decide where I was like I put my daughter in public school, my 8-year-old, and then we were like, "Fuck this. This is some bullshit."
Oh, really?
And we put her in Christian
school.
Yeah, because, and then you know what, dude? The Christian school is epic. It's epic. They love our kids so much. You know, public school, they're like...
They're a bunch of atheists. They're bad people. Don't trust the atheist, man.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know.
Good, because it was a joke.
Whatever. Now I'm getting weird.
Well, here's the thing. I have no judgment over anyone who labels himself as an evangelical or otherwise, because I have now fully reconciled my faith.
Yeah.
I have fully reconciled that. And so I don't have to be right. I don't have to debate. I don't have to prove my own conclusions to be correct. I'm good. Like, I am fully reconciled with Christianity, with Christ, with God, and now I just get to grow.
So, okay, was Jesus was that a real human being, and was he God and stuff?
All right, hold on. So now are we?
Sorry,
we're going from personal transformation land to now you're asking for my opinion on reality. Is this right? Like, are we switching that mode? Because those are different modes.
Yeah, there's different modes.
Right? There's my relationship with it.
Yeah. Yes.
And then there's what do you think actually happened?
It makes perfect sense to me that you've reconciled with it. And I guess what led to this next question was, what does that mean in detail? So if you've reconciled it, are you like, Jesus was probably not, that probably never happened, and what's going to happen with you and I at the end of this life?
Okay, so there was several questions in there. Would you please prompt me with the one you want me to answer first?
Okay. What's your take on this Jesus guy?
Could you be more specific with your question?
Did he exist?
Yes.
Was he Jewish?
Yes.
Was he God?
Yes.
Okay. So he was God on earth.
Yes.
Beautiful. Are you also God on earth?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. So he was one of... Was he particularly important in the pantheon of...
Yes.
Okay. And what will happen with you and I when we die?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in death?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Chris. Not sure I'm getting anywhere. I'm going to have some Zevia. Does Zevia exist?
Yes.
What's the person's name?
Yes.
Sweet.
I could go for 3 more hours. I feel like
I'm trying to bait Ryan into some deep.
you can, if you
Deep
like.
church.
I told you today that I wanted to start a personal podcast that was just politics and religion.
This is
This might actually be the nice transition we needed.
You know, have you heard?
Once you have a $4 million business, this is the stuff you can sit around and talk about.
That's right. Totally
This is
automated.
freedom.
Yeah. Have you heard of the phrase backdoor pilot?
Yes.
I don't know if he really has.
Judson, I have heard of the backdoor pilot.
Okay, so it's like Law and Order, and when Law and Order spins off Law and Order SVU, they do the characters come into the last episode of Law and Order, and then they spin it off into a new show.
Okay.
So right now we could do a backdoor pilot.
The back room pilot.
Yeah, the back room pilot, and spin off into your personal podcast.
All right. Well, I'm just going to make the announcement right now. So since I'm not going to go down rabbit holes on politics and religion, every episode of capitalism.com, we'll keep this mostly about business. I'm going to start a personal podcast where I talk about politics, religion, love, sex, parenting, the journey, inward and outward, and say business for capitalism.com. Right now, I think I'm going to call it the Ryan Daniel Moran podcast. TBD officially later. But that'll be...
I love it.
That'll be the Wormhole podcast.
And you're going to do like debate reactions.
Yes.
Right? Like right after the debate's over, you'll like give us your thoughts. Or I think especially coming in the next 6 months, that there's going to be a lot of fun episodes like that.
But we all know what's going to happen. If somebody bet me 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds that a Democrat was going to win, I'd be like, great, I just made $1.
I'll take that bet. I have to put up $1.
It's just, I mean, there's...
Well, we probably know what the result, the end result will be there, but I think it's going to be fun along the way.
So the one thing is, like, if I don't think Biden's going to be the nominee, but if he is the nominee, like, I just feel bad for him.
I know, dude. I know.
Like, it won't be fun. It'll be like, can we get this over with?
Yeah, it'll just be a beatdown.
This podcast may not age very well. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We could do the religion. That's where we were going. I don't know how we ended up on politics. I'm not a good person to have a politics conversation anyway.
Me neither, because you will change all your beliefs. Don't talk politics unless you want to come to my side, boys and girls. That's why I subscribe to the Ryan Daniel Moran podcast. The perfect companion to your business favorite, capitalism.com.
You could call it My Side.
What?
You could call it My Side with Ryan Daniel.
My Side? It's not bad.
Come to my side.
It's not bad. I feel like we need to bring this home.
Okay.
With like a nugget. But that's just me trying to make it hard. So screw that. Let's just keep going forever.
Let's just roll until we roll. How long has this been?
How long have we been here? It's been at least like
45
6 hours, right?
That's about 70 minutes.
So,
wow. It goes fast though, because I love doing this too. And so Ryan.
yes.
Can I ask you, maybe we can wrap up with this. I have no idea why, but can I ask you a question? So, I always, I don't have the talent that you have of consolidating information and sort of regurgitating it in a way that's like really helpful for people. I think I do have some talent in being vulnerable and talking in a way that really engages people. It's a different one than yours, like a different version of something. But I do tend to find that people listen when I talk. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
So I have a video company and I have physical products brands. And so the space of bringing those together is something you and I have discussed quite a bit. And there's a little bit of an opportunity for me to be an influencer in that space. So video, I think it's a maybe a smaller niche and maybe not worth my time. But it's a little bit happening naturally, where I got invited to speak here, and I'm going to be on a podcast next week, and sort of speaking about e-commerce video. But somebody said to me recently, they're like, you want to, I thought you wanted to like stay home and, like it involves a lot of travel, and like, I already have a bunch of businesses. Like, what's the question? The question is that something that you as an influencer, as a content creator, is that something that I should sort of lean into, or not.
Here's my advice. Do it without trying to make it a business. Do it and then let the parts that will make it sustainable come to you. You've got 2 businesses. One of the biggest mistakes I've made. Like, seriously. Top 3 mistakes I've made in my career is trying to businessify it, make it sustainable before you really find the juice. It's like selling the product that you try to force into the algorithm. So if you want, like, you become an influencer by influencing, not by charging a speaker fee.
Yeah.
Charging a speaker fee does not make you an influencer, but being an influencer allows you to charge a speaker fee. It's what is the barrier. It's what makes it sustainable. Most people try to make the business before they have the juice. You have to have that soul behind it first. So if you want to go do talks, do content, whatever you want, do it, but don't businessify it.
I love that.
Not for quite some time.
I love that.
And the other reason for this is if you don't have the pressure of businessifying it, of making it a business, then you won't ever do it for the result.
Yeah.
So you'll be in your zone.
Yeah.
And that will give you the shot at making it a business if you want it to be a business. Really, really big mistake that I have made many times. And I really hope it's the last time life had to give me that lesson. I really hope. Cool.
Thank you.
Where do you put out that content, by the way? Or where do you do that stuff?
I haven't done anything.
All right, cool. Well, Judson Morgan. You've been on capitalism.com talking about e-commerce video. I'm pretty sure that makes you an expert now.
That's right. So if you want e-commerce video, go to group4.co. That's the...
I'm going to charge you an absurd advertising fee now.
Yeah. Or we can just do an affiliate relationship.
You know my opinion. You should go for equity deals. That's my opinion.
I like it. It's exactly why I'm here, because that's much bigger thinking. Right? I'm in the grind think. I'm a grinder. I bet a lot of people out there are grinders.
Yeah, let's get you out of mule mode and put you into magician mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had this thought of like, what we really did with you today is we started to liberate your entrepreneurial genius, which makes you really powerful. And most entrepreneurs come in with like all this gunk, all the things they're trying to force. And what happens when you really get plugged into people that complement you is you liberate that entrepreneurial genius.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I really enjoy every minute with you.
Likewise. This is awesome. I thank you so much for inviting me to be on, and let's do it again.
I have several moments with you that are like life moments.
Yep.
The time at dinner when you told me you'd been following me. The first shoot we did for the documentary, the closing scene of the documentary.
The first shoot of the documentary, by the way, Ryan and I cuddled for hours.
Kind of.
We did.
How?
You're like, hold my hand.
I would not let you stop holding my hand. Yeah. I was terrified out of my mind.
He was in the seventh levels of
I basically
hell,
was, yeah.
And holding my hand. Yeah.
And I would not let I remember I would not let you leave.
Yeah. I think you were calling me Juddy.
Juddy?
I'm pretty sure, dude. When we had met the day before.
Look, I get attached quick, man. I'm a feeler.
And you were high as a kite.
What can you call it? High?
Yeah, I don't know what you call it.
I don't know.
I've done no drugs. Zero drugs.
I don't think I was high as much as I was very grounded.
Yeah.
Extremely grounded.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't high.
That was a hard night. And one of the most profound transformations of my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And I've had several of those since. Some of them on substances and some of them not. I believe all kinds of... You know what? On the Ryan Danny Moran podcast, I need you to be the one who pulls out the religious part of me.
Okay. I'd love to.
And that's how we'll bring you back. All right, my friend.
It's a deal.
Thanks for hanging out with me. Boom.
Thanks, sir. Boom.